by Vivid Seats, St. Joseph Health System, South Bend Orthopedics, by West Bend Insurance, First Source Bank, by IBEW, and by Papa John's.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the 20th season of the Mike Brey Radio Show. I'm Jack Nolan, joined as always by the head coach of the Fighting Irish. Of course, when we started, I was on your broadcast, but I wasn't the original host. Sean Stiers was hosting the show when you began on a different radio station, and it wasn't the Mike Brey Show. It was the Notre Dame basketball show, because you were too humble to call it the Mike Brey Show.
I didn't want my name on the show, and then that way I didn't have to show up every week, right?
So I like that your name's on the show.
But 20
now.
years, can you believe that we've been doing this, and we got 10 in a row, right, starting
10
tonight?
straight. We are going to be on a roll.
And we got the ACC schedule starting, 18 league games coming at us, starting in the Carrier Dome on Saturday, and this still beats a real job, this coaching stuff, man. It's tough some days, but it still beats a real job.
All right, you've played 13 games, and for the first time, you've already played a couple of conference games. So the questioner in your TV show, I'm going to change it a bit, but it was a really good question. What have you learned about the team over the first 13 games?
You know, I thought we would be really good passing the basketball, especially our guards coming back that know how to play, but our big guys have joined the party, and you know, we lead the nation in assist to turnover. We lead the nation in least amount of turnovers. We can be very, very efficient. And lately, we've made a bunch of those open shots we usually get because we pass so well. We didn't do that as much early. We have not done that on the road yet consistently. We've done it at home. You got to start somewhere, you know, and we want to kind of protect the home. And other than the Boston College loss, I like how we played there. But now you got to pick off a couple on the road and then come back and hold serve. So we've got obviously Syracuse Saturday, and then we've got to go to Raleigh, North Carolina, who's another explosive offensive team against NC State on Wednesday. So it's you try to not look too far ahead and just try and live the day-to-day now in January, February, and early March.
Seems like a long time ago that you opened the season at North Carolina and actually played very well in that game. If Cole Anthony doesn't go insane in the second half, you probably win the game because you led for much of the game until he had his explosion. How has playing conference games so early changed the dynamic of what we used to call the preseason or the non-conference season?
Well, I mean, you've got a lot on the line now before Christmas. You used to never play a league game before Christmas. Now we will play two moving forward every year. Now, we will not open with ACC games in the next near future. That was kind of a one-shot deal this year to get the ACC network plugged. But so, you know, you got a lot on the line, and you know, the reality is we're 0-2 in the league right now. You know, we lost at North Carolina, which was going to be a tough one, and we couldn't get Boston College here. So now you are scratching and clawing, you know, to get back into that 500 level first in league play. Because, you know, in our league, if you're in 500 level, you know, you're probably in the discussion for the NCAA tournament. But we got a lot of work to do.
League's interesting this year, though. I mean, is there more? Is Duke even a dominant team? Because I'm not sure anybody else is right now. A lot of good teams.
Yeah. Well, I don't think we had 3 1 seeds last year in the league. The league does not have that, you know, heavyweight punch at the top. But and that's a good thing for us because we're trying to find ourselves as are a number of other teams in the league. And so, you know, the one thing about here, whether we've been in the Big East or the ACC, you can be under 500 or hanging and trying to find yourself, and then all of a sudden rip off a couple in a row. And not only is your resume looking better, but confidence-wise, you're feeling pretty good. And there is where we are right now. We need to get a couple to kind of feel, okay, here we go.
You've said that your seniors are your seniors, and I know you're certainly, in terms of you know what you're going to get from them, and you certainly like what you get from John Mooney, which is a double-double just about every night. He's had 10 double-doubles in 12 games. He is leading the nation in rebounding at 13.5 a game. He leads in defensive rebounds, 10.33, and obviously he is one of the best in the nation at double-doubles as well. Did you expect him ever to be what he is now?
He has really impressed me. If you would have told me as a freshman and sophomore Johnny Mooney would be the leading rebounder in the nation, and I don't think I would have believed you. So it's a real credit to him, his work. A lot of credit to Ryan Humphrey and the tutelage of Ryan Humphrey and coaching him the last couple years. But, you know, to be able to rebound the ball at a clip like that is just, you don't see that. And I've liked the captain and leader he's become. He's not the most vocal guy, and he hasn't been until this year. He's a little more of a voice. But the physical demand of going double-double, you know, 10 straight, and now against ACC frontline physicality is really an amazing physical feat. He is a great athlete. And my biggest concern for him as we get into league play is how we rest him, because he doesn't want to take any time off. He goes in the gym on days off, and we just got to get him, you know, keep him fresh.
Well, and he was sick for the BC game, and you don't want to use that as an excuse.
Yeah.
But he still insisted on playing, and you had to rotate him in and out in 2 and 3 minute spurts because that's all he had.
Yeah, he was, you know, what's so crazy is he finally becomes the player of the week in the ACC. Then he misses the next game with the flu, you know, the Iron Man. And so he's got his flu out of the way. But you know, he can play 30-some minutes, and he's been smart about not fouling. You know, we that's another thing we've been good at. I think we're tied for first or second in least amount of fouls. We're not putting people on the foul line, and quite frankly, with our depth, we can't afford to be in foul trouble.
Mooney also is tied for the lead in double-doubles with 10. Your other main senior, TJ Gibbs, you need him to score. And what an efficient game he had on Sunday against Alabama A&M. Made 7 of his 10 shots, 3 threes, handed out some assists. And you really do need that from him every night.
Yeah, no, he's kind of back in a rhythm that we could never find last year. But as I said, you know, he was running kind of a daycare center last year with all these young guys. And now with Rex back and Prentice older, especially the 3 of them on the perimeter to start a game, those are 3 good guards that know how to play. And they're good with the ball. And he is finding how to set his feet and shoot it. His assist to turnover is 3rd in the nation. You know, his numbers, he's just so good with the ball. He's a great passer, a willing passer, and he'll fight you tooth and nail on the defensive end, and he's physically reliable. Like Johnny, those guys are kind of Iron Men. Like, you know, physically they are there. And that's a big thing, you know, being able to rely on a guy every day physically. So he's another guy stealing rest over the next, you know, 18 games in 3 months is a key.
And your grad student, Rex Pfluger, I liked the fact that he hit the 3 on Sunday, had 7 points on Sunday.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily need him to score. That's a bonus. But talk about what he's been doing for your team.
Well, you know, he is a great example of he does a little bit of everything else. And I believe Alan, our SID, is putting together some stats on rebounds, steals, and assists. And he is in like really elite company in the history of our program in that area. You know, he's a great passer. He can get in and defend. He's got great instincts getting his hands on the ball. He's a clutch guy. He's tipped 2 in, 1 to get us to the Sweet 16, 1 in the Carrier Dome 2 years ago. He makes winning plays, and it doesn't mean making a shot or scoring, even though that's a nice bonus as he gets more
comfortable. The play
comfortable.
he makes in the Toledo game where he deflects the ball and then dives and bats it ahead. If you don't get that play in that bucket, you don't win that game.
Yeah, he's just got amazing instincts. He's a winner. He's around it. He has come back from the knee. He obviously, you know, tragically lost his mom to cancer, and you know, his teammates have been great support for him. He's just, you know, he's getting his master's degree. I'm really proud of him. I will miss him when he leaves. I miss his personality, but he makes winning plays for you. If there's a play that's made in the last 2 minutes of the game, it's usually Pfluger around the ball doing something.
And he's 5th in the ACC right now in assist to turnover. I guess when you're leading the country in it, everybody's got to be good. But you have 3 of the top 6 guys in assist to turnover, and they're all starters: Gibbs, Pfluger, and Hub. That means that you can experience and suffer through some things because you're not making a lot of mistakes with the ball.
You know, we've really been good on that end of the floor, and we're efficient on that end of the floor. And overall, that's kind of been the hallmark of the program. You know, to lead the nation and be up that efficient is really good. And then it comes back to us on that other end, and then being able to withstand maybe some of the physicality and athletic ability that teams may have a little more than us. Can we make our stand back in that 15-foot and in range around the bucket, not get second shots put up, not get beat off the dribble, play some zone, mix it up a little bit. And then it's always good when you're knocking down three-point shots, and we have done that at home. And we did do that overall in the Indiana game, especially in the second half. But, when we have open looks, we want to rise up and take them. And I think we've gotten better. Our young guys have gotten better at not turning shots down. They were too nice and too unselfish at times, I thought, as young players, and even early this season. But like Dane Goodwin and Nate Leshevsky, they got to let it rip. They got to let it fly. And Prentice, too. You got open looks, rise up and take them.
And you just mentioned your sophomore class, and you can throw Jajuan Durham in there as well. But we talked about what the seniors can bring and what they need to bring. But the sophomores have to take steps up, and they are now, maybe led by Goodwin, who is becoming one of the best sixth men in the country off the bench.
Yeah, I think he is, the light bulb's on a little bit for him. He's aggressive. He's going after it. He had a tough game against Boston College, and ever since then, he has been on it and aggressive and coming off the bench looking to score. And then, when you have guys that know how to play, that are playing with him, they know to get him the ball. And we run some stuff to get him touches and get him shots, and he's aggressive that way. But you're right. I look at those three seniors are probably going to do what they do. And then it's the three softs. We mentioned Dane. Prentice being more aggressive and doing things. I think Nate Leshevsky has become a big-time college rebounder. He hasn't shot it as well as he will, but that's going to happen. And then Jajuan's almost like a soph a little bit, because even though it's his fourth year of college, given injuries, transfers sitting out, so those four guys of our seven-man rotation, they can improve and change. And it's no disrespect for Mooney, Pfluger, and Gibbs. They just kind of are who they are. And it's pretty darn good.
Well, it's good.
It's really pretty good. But they're not – we need those other four guys to keep coming and not wait on being really good.
Well, your older leadership, they need help because they can't do it by themselves.
Yes.
You know what you're going to get from them, but it's not enough to win in this league.
No, there's no question. And one of the meetings we had was I said to the three sophomores, I said, you don't need permission from the old guys to go ahead and be good. Be great if you want. And then I asked TJ, is it all right if they be? Oh, yeah, coach, we need them to be great, So sometimes kids are really nice and they kind of wait their turn. And again, those softs need to be aggressive, and I think they will be.
And I know that's why he's here, but you see the great potential that Jajuan Durham has. He really has outstanding basketball skills for a man of his size and build. He was hurt when he came here. He was hurt most of last year. But he's really starting to break out and not only show the finesse that he has, but he's adding some physicality to it. I've never seen him as comfortable with the ball as he was on Sunday.
He really is good with the ball, and he's got good footwork. He's a very good passer. He probably is a little too unselfish, but we can throw it to him in the post and let him score and do some things. If he gets fouled, he makes 70% of his free throws. So, and I think he's getting more and more confident and feeling better, and I'm excited. I'm very proud of who he's become. He's had to work hard to overcome some physical stuff. He's never going to be 250. Jajuan Durham's going to be 220 when he's 50 years old. Hopefully, maybe, but so he is who he is, but our guys have now kind of learned how to find him above the rim. We've not had many guys like that. Coach Humphrey was one, right? But, our guys kind of find angles above the rim for him, and behind the zone, Saturday would be a good time to throw it above the rim to him.
One of the unfortunate things about this year so far is in the games where you've struggled offensively, and even when you haven't, your team's defended every single game. It's why you've won some of the games we haven't shot well. If we go back to maybe the marquee game for the average fan on the schedule so far, UCLA, you hit a lot of threes in that game, but the reason that you won it was your defense, especially the only way that UCLA wins is Cody Riley and Jalen Hill, two very athletic big guys, both averaging double figures, and your guys held them to 9 combined points on 3 of 16 shooting. It was a great effort.
Yeah, and we were able to help our big guys in the post by coming down, but this team does like to defend together. Like, they play well together, like leading the nation in assists to turnover. That's a group that plays well together. But you play together on the defensive end, too. How do you talk? How do you switch? How do you help each other? And this group does that. And I think our Ken Palm, we're maybe around 50 defensively, which is very solid and really one of our better in my 20 years. That's one of our better numbers. So we've got to change defenses. We play some zone a little bit, but we're doing it on that end of the floor well enough. It's getting down and trying to get down quicker. Our tempo's up. You know, we had the remnants of the burn in our offense for probably 5 years after the burn, and we practiced with a 20-second shot clock a bunch at the end of the season last year, through the summer, through the preseason, and we're playing faster. We're getting down the floor. We're good with the ball, and just not having to play against set defenses as much, I think, helps you.
We've talked a lot about 20th year. Well, the UCLA game was your 800
games
as a collegiate head coach.
Crazy. That's I've been lucky. Can you believe it? To be able to do this for 20 years or 25 as a head coach, and 20 years here with the kind of young guys you get. So, yeah,
All right, how have you done it? Is it too early to sit down and figure out how have I lasted this long? Because it's a hard business to survive in, especially at one place.
It is. And to be at a place 20 years just doesn't happen. Well, I've had unbelievable support from 2 presidents and 2 athletic directors, and we've had really good players. We've been really fortunate, the guys we've recruited, and they've been team guys and good guys and been coachable. And then I've been really fortunate with assistant coaches, you know, guys that have helped me. Some are now moved on and head coaches. But I think the quality of person you attract to this place, I've had 65 guys go through and use their eligibility. That's like 65 sons, you know, that are out there and all in different walks of life and married and children. And, you know, we have reunions now and they come back. And I was telling the media today, you know, they've all, to me, it's kind of a blur. And sometimes I'll ask Ryan Ayers, now, how many years did you play with him? He said, well, Coach, I played with him 2 years. Well, I can't remember that. I can't remember who played with who now. It kind of runs together. So, no, been really, and had great support here. And our fan base has been great.
65 guys.
65 guys.
Imagine how many basketball grandkids you have.
It's a lot of guys.
Yeah, you have to have a big hall for those reunions now.
I guess you can't retire till you coach one of their sons. Yeah, is that like the deal?
I think it's getting close.
Yeah, it's getting close. They've got some sons that are older now.
All right, we have a nice, intimate little crowd here tonight because students are still on break, so the Legion's not here. But we've got 30, 40 folks who are here. Lots of good questions. We'll get to those questions right after this first time out. It's the Mike Brey Radio Show, live from O'Rourke's Public House, presented by the experts at TireRack.com.
We know you like football. So do we. We're TireRack.com, and this is our version of a 2-minute drill, except it's only 30 seconds. TireRack.com has an enormous selection of tires. Not sure which ones to buy? Use our Tire Decision Guide to find the right tires for your vehicle and the way you drive. Then get them shipped fast and free on all orders over $50. Shipping is in as little as 1 day. Free. TireRack.com ships to independent, recommended installers. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be. Touchdown!
There's no doubt education costs have become overwhelming and continue to spike. Unless you choose to earn while you learn as an apprentice with the electrical workers of Local 153. Instead of spending $20,000 a year, often leaving school with a debt, you'll earn an annual package worth over $70,000 while you earn your associate's degree and the skills to be an IBEW electrician. Contact the South Bend Electrical Apprentice Training Center at JATC153.com and compare. Huge costs with no guarantee of a job versus earning $280,000 and train for the future.
Fighting Irish fans, don't miss your chance to experience the action live with tickets from Vivid Seats, the official ticket marketplace of the Fighting Irish. Visit vividseats.com/UND today to buy and sell tickets to any event. Home games, on the road, even sold-out games, no problem. And every transaction is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee. Vivid Seats lets you see more and sit closer all season long. Support the Fighting Irish with tickets from the official ticket marketplace, Vivid Seats. Available now at vividseats.com/UND.
You know, a lot of banking apps let you do the same things, like check your balance in your PJs, deposit checks during your workout, and transfer funds from, well, anywhere. But because we're a trusted bank in the neighborhood, the First Source app comes with a walk-in option. So you can talk face-to-face, not just face-to-phone. First Source Bank.
Member FDIC. Download the First Source app on the App Store or Google Play.
At St. Joseph Health System, every hand held, every story told, every tear shed, smile shared, and spirit lifted stays in our hearts forever. We're blessed because every day we get to make a difference in people's lives. To learn more, visit sjmed.com. St. Joseph Health System. We are called to care for you.
All right, we're back on the Mike Brey Radio Show. Time for audience questions. The Lisses are here. They're always here. Wherever we do a show, they're there.
Where are they?
If we did it in your house, they would try to be in there.
I know.
Where are the Lisses?
I don't
They must be in the back, but I know they're here because we got a bunch of questions. They might be over at the bar as well. Nice lengthy bar here at O'Rourke's. Coach, what can your team continue to improve on as we start ACC play?
You know, I think the confidence of our sophomores being aggressive and not turning down shots and looking to be aggressive offensive players and not holding back, I think, is an area where we must keep coaching and helping them.
Greg Ayers, who used to work here, listens in Kalamazoo all the time. Now, we answered why you opened with an ACC opponent, but he would like to know what was the reason the ACC and other Power 5 conferences played conference games earlier in the season, and do you like this change?
Well, we better like the change because it's here to stay, and the reason is we went from 18 to 20 league games, and we needed room. We can't fit 20 league games in a January, February, March calendar, so we needed to fit them in before Christmas. And basically the reason we went to 20 league games was we all have our own conference networks, ACC just coming online in August, Big Ten. You're giving the conference network more inventory, more programming, more league stuff, and that is a lifeblood of revenue for the Big Ten, the SEC, and hopefully the ACC in a couple of years.
So you fully support it, and you understand that. Is it harder?
It's harder. Yeah. There's no question. But I look at it and I go, if we play 20 league games, you know, first of all, it's going to jack the power of your overall schedule up, you know. And again, we still played UCLA and we still played Indiana, and you know, so you still played and you still played other people, but you know, it's just it gives you some more chances maybe for quality wins too. You know, if you're playing 20 ACC games or 20 Big Ten games, that's 2 more shots at maybe a good win.
But you've still got a part of your fan base, I'd say probably now 50 and older, who remember the independent days.
Yeah.
And in November and December, they still want to see every weekend Marquette and DePaul and St. John's and UCLA and go on and on and on. It makes it a lot harder to schedule out of your league now.
Yeah, I think, you know, we've tried to be strategic with that. Of course, UCLA was a natural, and, you know, we're going to get them back on in the future. But when we were an independent, we had the flexibility to play them every year. And then now you have league games, you don't quite have that flexibility. Marquette is going to come back on the schedule. We are going to go back to Marquette in 2021 and start there. And I thought that's a natural to come. I would like to go back to some of those old Big East schools, Catholic schools, Marquette, Villanova, Georgetown, you know, go back and play them in homes in our non-league schedule.
Darren Harrell is here from Bourbon, Indiana. Coach, is there any opponent that you most look forward to playing?
I mean, in the ACC now, you know, it's certainly that you get to play against a Duke and a North Carolina joining this league. I think it's very exciting for our players to play those people. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of other good teams in our league, and Virginia has become a great team as well, a great program. But those are neat games for, I think, our fan base now. Like, that's in every year, and sometimes this year twice we play them twice, and the Carolina Duke thing. So I think that's been neat to see our guys get fired up for that. But I don't know if there's ever one where you're invested completely in it. I think a lot of our fans were about UCLA because it means so much through the years. But, when you play 20 league games, I don't think you can invest in one over the other. You just got to try and get ready for the next one coming at you.
Certainly a lot of big games coming up. You mentioned NC State. After that, Louisville comes to town. Carolina's coming to town. And, folks, you can experience the action live with tickets from Vivid Seats, the official ticket marketplace of the Fighting Irish. Visit vividseats.com/UND today to buy and sell your tickets. Vivid Seats helps you see more and sit closer all season long at vividseats.com/UND. More questions for Coach Brey right after this timeout.
So many things to organize, so many ways to get it done during the Store More Save More event at the Home Depot. Now it's easier than ever with clear Sterilite storage containers in tons of styles and sizes, from extra large bins to water-resistant containers and more, starting at just $1.18 each. Order online for fast and easy pickup. It's a good time to be a doer, and for getting organized with help from the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Limited time only. Event end dates vary by store. See store for details.
The new year is upon us, people. Which resolutions do you plan to conquer in 2020? Well, obviously, working out, eating right is important. So is sleeping right. That's where the Sleep Number 360 smart bed comes into play, because it helps everyone get the proven quality sleep that's going to change their life. And you use the Sleep IQ app to help create a routine. Yeah, sleeping right requires a routine. And with the Sleep IQ technology that's inside the bed, you can track how you're sleeping and give you personalized insights for your best sleep. And it's the perfect best bed for couples, because Sleep Number allows you to adjust on each side to your ideal firmness, comfort, and support with your Sleep Number. Mine is 60. My wife's is 70. It's 10 numbers apart, but it really is the world of difference. Discover proven quality sleep right now during the lowest prices of the season. A Queen Sleep Number 360 C4 smart bed is only $12.99. You could save $400 for a limited time only at a Sleep Number store or at sleepnumber.com/Eisen. That's sleepnumber.com/EISEN.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents and Doug.
Limu, when we're not telling people that Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need, I've actually been moonlighting as a DJ. Check it! Here's the good part! Liberty, 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 liberty. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Join us weekdays at 5 for Sports Beat with Darren Pritchett, ND Insider Eric Hansen, and Sean Stiers.
Rover Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah against Iowa State, 9 tackles, 3 sacks, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery. Is he the centerpiece of the 2020 defense?
He is a game changer now. He's a game wrecker, as Brian Kelly likes to call him. He's elevated from a pretty good player, I think, to that status.
Budweiser's Weekday Sports Beat, only on WSBT.
We're back at O'Rourke's Public House. We have actually a table full of young hockey players who also like basketball, and they gave us a ton of questions. Max sent in a question. Max, thank you. Coach, when did you decide to coach basketball, and what does your team have that others do not?
Okay, well, I probably, my parents were teachers and coaches, so I was around it all the time. I think at a young age I was, thinking about coaching. I was always thinking about being a high school coach, and then some college opportunities presented themselves. We are really basketball smart. We have a really high IQ. That's why an assist to turnover leads the nation, and we don't foul, and that our basketball IQ will be the thing that carries us.
Aiden wants to know how you made that transition from high school coaching to college coaching.
I was at DeMatha High School as an assistant coach and a U.S. history teacher and the whole bit, and we had really good players, and everybody came through to recruit them. So you got to know college coaches as they recruited the players at the high school. And then Mike Krzyzewski had an opening on his staff back in 1985, I want to say, 87, and he wanted a younger guy. And fortunately, I fit the bill.
I was young
and was young and was there 8 years.
Dominic, I think it's Belletti or Deletti. I hope I got it right. It's kind of hard to read the crayon. Dominic would like to know, how is basketball? I've never played before because I play hockey.
Well, it's somewhat similar to hockey, right? You're shooting at one goal, you're interchanging, they're screening. They just let you hockey guys foul more, and right? You're allowed to foul in hockey, and we're not allowed to push and smack guys around. But if you look at how the game is played and the spacing and all that, and it's somewhat similar. But by the way, I love watching hockey. I love watching our hockey team, and I know how popular it is for young people. And God bless those parents that spend all the road time. Y'all need a drink. Can we send them a drink? Like, hockey parents travel everywhere. God bless you. You better thank your parents, guys. Thank them.
Megan Felker's here as well and would like to know what you look for in a student athlete.
Well, first of all, a young man's got to be admissible to our university and get through our admissions process. This school is hard. And of course, we're going to have Cormac up here in a little bit, and he just came from Stanford. And this first semester was hard. And so no one is tricked into coming here. The kids I have all know they're going to have to really work academically. And then the basketball is a high level. But I think, that first of all, are you going to be okay in our culture and really want to work academically?
Kevin is here. Why did you choose the players that you chose? It kind of fits the same thing.
Yeah, I think staying along the lines of intelligence and basketball IQ and smart and feel for the game, we've kind of really tried to recruit to that. And sometimes we've given up some athletic ability to get skill and feel for the game guys. But over the years, that's really paid off for us. And I think when you watch this group pass and play on the offensive end and share it, we use the phrase playing the right way. Not dribbling too much, sharing the ball, swinging the ball, being unselfish. And that's the one thing we try to recruit the guys that know how to play the game the right way.
Well, Brandon List submitted a question about Cormac Ryan, so we're going to start the next segment with that question.
We'll get him up here.
Cormac up here. We'll be back with Cormac Ryan after this timeout. It's the Mike Brey Radio Show live from O'Rourke's Public House.
If the worst brings out your best on the football field, that means that you tend to rise up in the face of adversity. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. A very nice quality for a football player to have. Also, a very nice quality for an insurance company to have. Because when something goes catastrophically wrong, we step up and make it right again. That's the silver lining. West Bend, the worst brings out our best. To find out more, visit thesilverlining.com.
We know you like football. So do we. We're TireRack.com, and this is our version of a 2-minute drill, except it's only 30 seconds. TireRack.com has an enormous selection of tires. Not sure which ones to buy? Use our Tire Decision Guide to find the right tires for your vehicle and the way you drive. Then get them shipped fast and free on all orders over $50. Shipping is in as little as 1 day. Free. TireRack.com ships to independent, recommended installers. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be. Touchdown!
Join the gang at O'Rourke's Public House, located in Eddy Street Commons, directly across the street from the Notre Dame campus. With over 24 beers on draft and an extensive selection of menu items, they're sure you'll find something to your liking. Experience dining in one of the 5 different Irish-themed areas overlooking Notre Dame's beautiful campus. Whether you're catching up with an old friend, meeting or enjoying dinner with your family, O'Rourke's is the place to be. Visit them online at o'rourkespublichouse.com. Cheers to the Irish from O'Rourke's, the official home of the Mike Brey Radio Show.
Is life throwing you hard knocks?
Okay, it's time to go to work.
You may be injured or just worn down. Whether it's Notre Dame football, work, or just everyday life, South Bend Orthopedics believes everyone should be treated as if they are on the same team. Schedule an appointment with South Bend Orthopedics today. Call 574-247-9441. Let us get you back in the game.
It doesn't take a focus group to name a Papa John's pizza with 5 of our best meats. Just take a ginormous bite and blurt out the first thing you think of. Meats! With an S. Meats, plural. Used in a sentence, it would be like, holy cow, that's a lot of meats. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go enjoy the meats of my labor. Try large meats or works for just $12, only at Papa John's. Not valid with other discounts. Fees and taxes extra. Prices may vary.
Welcome back to the Mike Brey Radio Show. Tire Rack is the presenting sponsor of the Mike Brey Radio Show, and like the Irish, Tire Rack knows a thing or two about passion and performance. Their on-site test track is their practice court, and they've got a playbook that includes precisely what you need. Get your ties right at TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be. So, Coach, here is Brandon Liss's question. Even though Cormac is sitting out this year because of transfer rules, what have you seen from him in practice that has you excited to see him play next year?
Well, I've been talking a lot about basketball IQ and feel for the game, and he has got a fabulous feel for the game and skill set. He's just a heck of a guard that knows how to play, and our fans are going to be very excited when he gets eligible. I wish I had him now. I actually explored trying to get a waiver when Carmody went down to get him eligible. He didn't really know it. I did it unbeknownst to him. He would have been jumping out there in a heartbeat, but we couldn't get it. But 3 years of eligibility. The timing for him is great in our program, and I think that's one of the reasons he ended up here. Pfluger and Gibbs, leave the building. How about a perimeter next year of Goodwin, Cormac, and Prentice Hub? That's pretty good. That's pretty good perimeter. And we really kind of stay at an experience level with those three guys on the court. So our fans, and I mean this is when people think, well, who's he like? Well, he's got a lot of Chris Quinn in him and Steve Vastoria, who were great players for us. But he's his own unique style and. But a really, really good feel, and we're going to let him play. We're not going to overcoach him because he's got a great feel.
Cormac was a key player for Stanford last year. You started 17 games, including your first one. It's always impressive when a freshman starts the first game of the year. Averaged just under 9 points, hit 49 threes to lead the Cardinal, grabbed 3.5 rebounds per game, dished out just under 2 assists a game, made 74% of his free throws. Those are like Notre Dame numbers. You were heavily recruited coming out of high school. Heavily recruited when you decided you needed to transfer. Just some of the schools that looked at you: Butler, Gonzaga, Villanova, Virginia, or you looked at them: Northwestern, Marquette. Why'd you pick Notre Dame?
I think that considering Notre Dame and coming here was honestly a no-brainer. I think that kind of the way that Coach, kind of like he was just describing, lets the guards play in the offense, and kind of the culture really that has been built, over, the 20 or so years that Coach has been here has been unbelievable, and you can feel it from day one, stepping in the door. And so I think that really stuck out to me as, kind of a place where I wanted to be at, in terms of on the court, off the court, type of culture, and just fit, honestly. And I felt that I would be able to fit in, and I think so far, I've absolutely felt that way.
There's a tremendous feature online on Notre Dame Wired segment with you on the sideline, just on the bench during the UCLA game. You stood in front of me in the Purcell practices. I sit in my radio spot, and you stood in front of me one practice and basically coached. You coached your tail off. I mean, especially for a guy that just got here. With both encouragement, I mean, you sounded like a member of the coaching staff. Do you think someday when your playing career's over, you'd want to coach?
Oh no! Oh no!
I wouldn't. I don't know. I mean, I don't. I'd obviously love to keep playing the game for as long as I can, and who knows where I end up in 20 or so years. But I love the game of basketball. I've always loved kind of the thinking aspect of it, and there's a lot more to it than kind of what you see on the court and being a player. So I wouldn't put it out of the question, but as of now, I'm not totally sure.
For your teams, communication is so very important, and this group in particular at times has been a little quiet. I don't think that's going to be a problem next year.
No, I've talked about his game, but what I'm looking forward to having, and I have it on a daily basis, but only in practice, is his personality and his communication and what will be quickly his leadership. He has got certainly a great feel. He's so encouraging to his teammates. He's so in with both feet. He's making an unbelievable impact even though he can't play in games. But, turning him loose out there, and he's the kind of guy where you come to a timeout next year and go, what do you think we should do, Cormac? I mean, I will value. I mean, he's got that kind of feel. He's been in our system, and but he's getting a Mendoza degree. Don't throw him into coaching yet. Let him go play pro for a while, and now professionally, the sky's the limit for him. He's got the whole package, and he can dream big dreams professionally. After watching him now for up close, it's a really bright future, and I think we can help him with that.
How much did both style of play, but as you talk to the other guys, knowing that this is not a dictatorship, those huddles are democracies where everyone has a voice. How important was that to you when you decided where you were going to play next?
It was extremely important. I think that kind of the trust and sense of family, really, that is within our program is unbelievable, and I think that that's a huge part of basketball is belief and believing in yourself and having others believe in you. Because no matter how good of a player you are, if you're kind of trapped inside your own head or you kind of have a fence put around you, you're not going to be able to live up to your potential or play the type of basketball you're capable of playing. And so I think that that's a big part of why we're so successful as a group, and also as individuals. People are just feel free. They feel loose, and they feel confident in themselves no matter what's going on, good or bad. It's just next play, move on, and I think that's a really powerful thing to have as a group.
I guess you could say small world, but probably more it's a program that turns out great players. But like Pat Connaughton, you played for the Middlesex Magic, AAU Pro. Because I played in the Middlesex League many years ago, because I grew up in Winchester, Massachusetts, before there was a Middlesex Magic. But talk about the AAU circuit and what that team under the Crotties does for players.
I think so. The Middlesex Magic is pretty much the reason why I began to kind of get exposed to the schools that ended up recruiting me. They played a very similar style of basketball as Notre Dame. It's a free style. It's a sharing the ball, an unselfish culture with a lot of guys who love the game and play hard. And so, like you mentioned, Pat Connaughton was a prime example. Middlesex Magic to Notre Dame, seamless transition, and obviously beyond. He's had a great, continues to have a great career in the NBA, but pretty much, playing for the Middlesex Magic as a sophomore, that really turned the corner on my recruiting process, just because it was a system that really fit the kind of player and person I am, and it allowed me to showcase what I could do, and also go out, and we didn't look the tallest or the strongest, or we weren't doing through the legs and layup lines, but we would go out and we'd beat teams, beat teams who had the 5 stars, had the highlights and the Instagram and all that, and we would just basically go out and get it done. And I think kind of taking that from a young age and kind of continuing on with that kind of mindset and that philosophy of just going out and taking care of business night in and night out is one that has kind of stuck with me, and I think a lot of players in that program as well as a lot of players in our program here.
Now, you are the first Cormac that I have met. I thought it was a very unusual name. I went on Twitter and put in Cormac today, and lots of Cormacs
there are
popped up. Lots of, not you. You don't seem to be on social media.
I'm not on Twitter.
Which
no,
is a smart.
Yeah, I have Instagram, but I don't have Twitter. I kind of stayed off that.
That's probably a good thing to stay off. And I refuse to get on Instagram. I'm on
smart.
But so, explain to me. Did your parents ever tell you why they named you Cormac? Do you have a history of that? I know it's Irish.
It is Irish, so fitting for being, home at Notre Dame. But it was kind of a last-minute deal. They were very undecided up until I was physically in the world and they were holding me. And I've been told that they saw it, somewhere in a name book, and they looked it up, and it does have Irish origins, I think some Irish king or somewhere back in the day. It's not really, after any particular person. I think they just kind of liked it and latched onto it.
Well, I looked it up today on one of the Irish websites, and they say it means charioteer. Have you ever seen that before?
I have not.
So apparently you're driving the chariot.
That's fitting.
Which seems to be very fitting for your future role.
He's a lead guard. That's very charioteer. Good.
Now, one thing he may not be aware about Notre Dame and being on radio and TV shows is you get to run the fast break. He may not know about the fast break.
Yeah.
I haven't had a chance to do this in quite some time. So we'll explain.
He'll be good at this.
To Cormac what the fast break is right after this timeout. The Mike Brey Radio Show, live from O'Rourke's Public House, presented by the experts at TireRack.com.
So many things to organize, so many ways to get it done during the Store More Save More event at the Home Depot. Now it's easier than ever with clear Sterilite storage containers in tons of styles and sizes, from extra large bins to water-resistant containers and more, starting at just $1.18 each. Order online for fast and easy pickup. It's a good time to be a doer, and for getting organized with help from the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Limited time only. Event and dates vary by store. See store for details.
And now another edition of Obvious News from Geico. Experts now say that wearing more clothes in the winter will, in fact, help you be warmer. We asked cold victim Trent Patterson about this, and here's what he said.
Yeah, it was the weirdest thing. I was a little cold, put on a sweater, then wasn't cold. I was like, what?
Also in Obvious News, Geico makes it easy to save money and easy to reach them, with licensed agents available around the clock. So switching is a really smart decision. That's Obvious News from Geico.
Looking for a solid off-season pickup? The Honda HR-V adds more to your team than fresh styling. It's also packing the technology and muscle for rough roads with the available all-wheel drive. The 60/40 split second row for extra cargo space make the HR-V perfect for game day. And you can drive worry-free thanks to the available Honda Sensing, a suite of safety and driver assistive features like lane keeping assist system. So, hurry to your Honda dealer to team up with the HR-V, part of Honda's best SUV brand by U.S. News and World Report.
Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn at the end of your first year automatically, dollar for dollar, with no limit on how much you can earn. Amazing. It's kind of like being showered with cash from above, which would also be pretty amazing. It's so amazing that millions of people a year are getting their cash back matched. They just can't get enough. So whether it's raining down on your head or raining into your bank account, it's your cash back, and Discover is matching it. Discover Cashback Match. What are you waiting for? Learn more at discover.com/match.
Join us weekdays at 5 for Sports Beat with Darren Pritchett, ND Insider Eric Hansen, and Sean Stiers.
Rover Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah against Iowa State, 9 tackles, 3 sacks, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery. Is he the centerpiece of the 2020 defense?
He is a game changer now. He's a game wrecker, as Brian Kelly likes to call him. He's elevated from a pretty good player, I think, to that status.
Budweiser's Weekday Sports Beat, only on WSBT.
All right, the first public challenge of his career, Cormac Ryan's career here at Notre Dame, is running the fast break. And you can, we don't have a clock on it.
Okay.
You can think a little bit. When we have more than one player, you can collaborate.
Mm-hmm.
But with the roster size right now, we're not going to have more than one player on the show this year. We have 10 shows and 10 players.
10
so,
right at it.
First car you ever drove?
First car I ever drove was my mom's minivan in a parking lot for practice, and luckily made it out with no scratches.
That's good. Those aren't easy to drive.
No.
Favorite all-time movie?
All-time movie, probably go with Goodfellas.
Good choice.
Yeah.
Who is your role model?
My role model is probably a combination of my mom and my dad.
Favorite musical group or artist?
Drake.
One thing the public would be surprised to learn about you.
I love to dance.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, this will be something we'll have to investigate over the course of the next 3.5 years.
He can move. He's got good feet now. He's got good footwork. He can move.
Well, the next question is Twitter or Instagram. You've already defined that. So who's your favorite NBA player?
My favorite NBA player of all time or right now?
Whatever you want to, either way.
I'd probably go with Larry Bird.
Good choice.
Yeah.
How about now?
Right now, I probably go with. It used to be Steve Nash, but he's retired, so I'd probably go with Steph Curry, probably.
Mm-hmm. Favorite thing to do when relaxing?
Listen to music, probably.
Favorite sport to play other than basketball?
Soccer, actually. I played soccer as my main sport up until 9th grade, actually.
Have you found that a soccer background is good for basketball?
You know, the last guy, it's funny you say that. The last guy I recruited that played a lot of soccer and had great feet because of it, like Cormac, Steve Wojciechowski.
Okay.
He was a high school soccer player, and that's probably why the feet are so great. You know, you doing it, moving it all the time.
What's your favorite part of practice?
My favorite part of practice, it's probably our warm-up routine. I think it's pretty fun and unique.
What's the worst part of practice for you?
When it's over.
Really? Oh, you gotta love this.
Well, his practices are his games.
Exactly. That's right.
He'd love to keep going another hour, and I got to have Mooney ready. You know, so he's got to go do a little workout with Ayers.
What do you think the best part of your game is right now?
Best part of my game right now, probably I'd probably say my shooting.
What part of your game do you need to work on?
Playing under control and probably just continuing to be aggressive, but also picking the spots to be aggressive.
Now, you grew up in Manhattan, so you have seen it all.
Mm-hmm.
But what other city or place in the world would you like to visit that you have not gone to?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I'm spoiled growing up in New York City, though. There's a lot of cities that are great cities don't really stack up in my eyes. I'd probably say I've never been to Miami, so I'd probably say Miami.
Well, we can get that done.
We can get that done.
Yeah.
We're
going to get that one done.
ACC game there soon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you ever do the Times Square thing on New Year's Eve?
Never. And if you ask a true New Yorker, they'll probably say the same thing.
Good for you, because it's insane.
Yeah,
no way.
No one's idea of fun.
No. What do you think is better, knocking down a long three, dishing out a terrific assist, or coming up with a big steal?
It's definitely between assist or steal. I think probably a steal is really, like a clutch steal is really, it's a backbreaker for the other team. And so I would say that's, it's not the most glamorous play, but it can really make the difference in a game. So I'd probably go with that.
One thing you always hear from Coach Brey in practice.
Let it rip. Let it rip. And that's not just for me, it's for everyone. So he really does practice what he preaches on that one.
You know this is coming. Assistant coach who is most like Coach Brey.
Assistant coach most like Coach Brey?
He hasn't been tainted yet enough.
That's why something I'm going to say.
Yeah. I'll probably say that's a tough one. I might go with Hump.
Ooh,
yeah.
you're right.
He's not been poisoned.
Yes, 98% of our respondents say Rod Balanis, but we like this.
Yeah,
we like this.
Athletically, Coach Hump.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, yes. You were a shot blocker all the time. Just one or two words about each of the assistants. Ryan Ayers.
Really positive and really invested.
Eric Atkins.
I actually didn't even know Eric.
He's not here.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Scott Martin.
Scott Martin.
Scott Martin
is focused and he's on the ball.
The problem with computers, you can bring stuff up from previous years. Eric was a good dude. He's coming.
He was.
Yeah.
He was back here. That was weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it came
back. He was on the other sideline.
Yeah, it was a little unusual.
Ryan Humphrey.
Enthusiastic, energetic.
Harold Swanigan.
Funny and in charge.
Player on the team most like you.
Player on the team most like me, personality-wise, I would say I'd probably say John Mooney.
Toughest Notre Dame player to guard.
Ooh, that's a tough one. I'll tell you this: guarding the team when the ball's flying around is a pretty tall task. I'll tell you that. I'll probably, if I had to pick one right now, I'd probably say T.J. Gibbs.
Who do you think the best defender on the team is?
Rex.
Best leaper on the team?
Robbie.
Best dunker on the team?
Probably Jajuan, I'd say.
Worst dunker on the team?
Ooh. I'd probably say Elijah, because I don't know if he could touch the rim.
Best dresser on the team?
Best dresser, Nick Jogo.
Oh, yeah.
Worst dresser on the team?
Worst dresser. That's a tough one. It's unfortunately it's between a couple of guys. I'd probably say Rex.
Best singer on the team?
Best singer on the team. I'll go with TJ.
Worst singer on the team.
Worst singer on the team. I'll throw my hat in the ring on that one.
Okay. Self-deprecating. Best comedian on the team.
Best comedian. That's funny. I'd probably say Mooney.
Guy who thinks he's funny. It really isn't.
Ooh, that's a tough one. I'll probably go. I'll go Dane.
And finally, we always end with a Coach Brey challenge. The one I'll give you is free throw shooting competition. Who wins, you or Coach Brey?
I don't know. I'll have to say myself. Hopefully myself, but I'm not. That's not a knock on Coach Brey.
But we got so many good free. I'm never. I can still. That's the one thing I still can do is make some free throws. But we've had so many good free throw shooters. I'm never up there much.
You were pretty good at the Maui though with all the other coaches.
I did shoot it well that day.
You did shoot it well that day.
You know why I had a daiquiri before the game.
And on that note, Cormac, great job. Looking forward.
Baby.
Thank you.
You only have to do this 3 more times. So thank you very much. We'll be back to wrap up this edition of the Mike Brey Radio Show right after this final timeout.
We know you like football. So do we. We're TireRack.com, and this is our version of a 2-minute drill, except it's only 30 seconds. TireRack.com has an enormous selection of tires. Not sure which ones to buy? Use our tire decision guide to find the right tires for your vehicle and the way you drive. Then get them shipped fast and free on all orders over $50. Shipping is in as little as 1 day. Free. TireRack.com ships to independent, recommended installers. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be. Touchdown!
There's no doubt education costs have become overwhelming and continue to spike. Unless you choose to earn while you learn as an apprentice with the electrical workers of Local 153. Instead of spending $20,000 a year, often leaving school with a debt, you'll earn an annual package worth over $70,000 while you earn your associate's degree and the skills to be an IBEW electrician. Contact the South Bend Electrical Apprentice Training Center at JATC153.com and compare. Huge costs with no guarantee of a job versus earning $280,000 and trained for the future.
At St. Joseph Health System, every hand held, every story told, every tear shed, smile shared, and spirit lifted stays in our hearts forever. We're blessed because every day we get to make a difference in people's lives. To learn more, visit sjmed.com. St. Joseph Health System. We are called to care for you.
Fighting Irish fans, don't miss your chance to experience the action live with tickets from Vivid Seats, the official ticket marketplace of the Fighting Irish. Visit vividseats.com/UND today to buy and sell tickets to any event. Home games, on the road, even sold-out games, no problem. And every transaction is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee. Vivid Seats lets you see more and sit closer all season long. Support the Fighting Irish with tickets from the official ticket marketplace, Vivid Seats. Available now at vividseats.com/UND.
Join the gang at O'Rourke's Public House, located in Eddy Street Commons, directly across the street from the Notre Dame campus. With over 24 beers on draft and an extensive selection of menu items, they're sure you'll find something to your liking. Experience dining in one of the 5 different Irish-themed areas overlooking Notre Dame's beautiful campus. Whether you're catching up with an old friend, meeting, or enjoying dinner with your family, O'Rourke's is the place to be. Visit them online at o'rourkespublichouse.com. Cheers to the Irish from O'Rourke's, the official home of the Mike Brey Radio Show.
In the final minute of our show, so let's focus on Saturday, 4 p.m. at the Carrier Dome, a dramatic victory the last time you were out there. Different Syracuse team. They are 8-5. They don't really have a big win yet. They did win on the road against Georgia Tech, but they're not the Syracuse team of last year.
No, they're very different in that they're shooting it. You know, they had trouble making the three-point shot, the outside shot, the last couple years. They were athletic, and they drove you, and they blocked shots. And now they're more skilled with 3 guys. Their 3 guards are really shooting threes. So now you're really having to – it's almost like playing against us. You have to get out on the threats and not worry about the post as much. And then you got to attack a 2-3 zone for 65 possessions. Now, you know, when you lead the nation in assist to turnover means you probably are pretty good with the ball. Well, Ken, it's the zone. You got to be good with the ball every possession, and guys catch it in different spots, and our big guys. So we really need to rely on our feel for the game and our passing ability, and then make a couple over the top of that thing. Last time we were there, when we won, was a great win for us. Rex tips it in at the buzzer. We had 19 offensive rebounds against their zone. So Mooney, Jajuan, and Nate, and even Rex, go on in there and play a little volleyball and try and get some second shots for us.
All right, 4
Here we
p.m.
go. Happy New
Saturday.
Year.
Happy
Here
New
we
Year,
go,
everybody.
baby.
Thank
Here we
you.
go.
That'll do it for this show. We're back on the air on many of these stations, 3:20 Eastern for the pregame show, Notre Dame and Syracuse. Until then, thanks for coming out, folks. Good night, everybody, and go Irish.
The Mike Brey Radio Show at O'Rourke's Public House was presented by the experts at TireRack.com and is brought to you by Coca-Cola, Under Armour, Gatorade, Canon, by Vivid Seats, St. Joseph Health System, South Bend Orthopedics, by West Bend Insurance, First Source Bank, by IBEW, and by Papa John's.